How's everyone doing today? This is the Philosopher King 2.0. Today I'm going to talk to you about how not to get rugged. Now, I don't know what your dirty minds are thinking, but I'm talking about in the crypto space. As someone who's been involved in some meme coin action over the last year or so, as I've brought myself up to speed, I've had my occasion to run into fraudsters and thieves and people that are just bad. And I'm going to try to spare you some of that. But to be perfectly honest, um, even though you might know some of this stuff already, but if you're new, I think you're going to find that it still happens. No matter how hard you try, there's just some people who are so deceptive that's just really hard to work around. Um, Now, today is November 22nd, 2024, and there's a lot of other things that we could be talking about. Trump has won. The world is on fire. Russia just sent its new missile into Ukraine. That was yesterday. I mean, God only knows what's happened today. Um, the national debt. Let's take a look at the national debt. Yeah, the national debt is not looking so great. We're closing in on $36 trillion there. You can see that there. Um, Federal spending is at 7 trillion, and then let's see, where does it show how much money the? Here it is. The federal tax revenue is at 5 trillion. That's actually a. Oh, I see. Yeah, so it pulls in 2.3 trillion just from the income tax, and then 1.6 trillion for out of payroll taxes. At any rate, those two numbers, 7 trillion minus 5 trillion, that means we're going $2 trillion further into debt um, every year. So yeah, this is not looking so good. And I'll just say this. I'll do another video on this. It definitely warrants it. But right now, Bitcoin is at an all-time high, and the meme coins are going through the roof. Solana's high. Stock market is high, and I know that a lot of people find that to be encouraging, but to me, that sounds like a melt up, because these things indicate that there's just so much fake money in the system that it can just go in every direction. I mean, so maybe you think that Bitcoin is not a fake entity. That's fine. I mean, you can make that case. You can make the case for utility coins or like Solana, but like some of these meme coins are going through the roof. Now those have absolutely no value whatsoever, and yet they're going nuts. And that just tells me that there's so much extra money in the system that people can just blow it, and that's not good. So that's a whole nother video. In the meantime, the problem is, yeah, this is gonna pop. I don't know when, and I think I made the determination about 18 months ago that even though I think things are gonna pop, I better get in on some of this action. And yeah, I've been burned a few times. So we're going to talk about how not to get rugged. That's what we're going to talk about. And my focus on this channel is about self-sufficiency, protecting yourself, and taking advantage of opportunities, but assuming that basically you're on your own, right? You saw what happened with the hurricane that came through. People were just wiped out, and they were really left to figure out what to do without any help. And some people who tried to help actually got in trouble, got threatened with arrest. And we found out that that FEMA actually skipped over Trump houses. and besides, it can take several days for help to arrive in situations like that. It's just one more example of how you need to be prepared to take your life into your own hands, and this crypto space is really kind of an extension of that. So, I'm involved in it now because there's opportunities here, and it's in my interest to seize them. But I'm more of a skeptic than a lot. Before I go on with a meme coin review and some tips on not getting rugged, there is something. I'm not sponsored by these people, but I do have a referral link. It's in the description. I like this. This is a company that has found a way to tokenize gold and silver, and they run an audit. So they only issue as much digital gold and silver as they have in physical gold and silver, and the audit verifies that the gold and silver actually exists. So I have a unboxing review somewhere on my channel for that. Um, Theoretically, you could actually take ownership of the gold and silver. So these are the kinds of digital opportunities that I'm looking for. Things that actually have some sort of backing to them beyond just, hey, this is a funny cartoon. This is a squirrel that was hot in the news, and just whatever. So if you know of coins that have actual backing of some kind, it doesn't have to be gold and silver. That's pretty top. Then I want to know about it. Let me know, and I'll take a look at it. And that's where I want to put my money. I want to put my money into crypto opportunities that actually have some real world backing to them. They have value that goes beyond just a cultural fad. So let's just kind of get moving on the rug check stuff. So a long time ago, I came across this coin here, SOLFI. And this has been around since March of 2024. I think it's been mostly abandoned by the developer. As near as I can tell, he's working on getting this transitioning this infrastructure away from Solana to Ethereum. That's my belief. It was happening. Now, this is a review not of the service that he's offering, but of the coin. Okay, so I haven't tried this locker, but this is an example of the kinds of things that I'm looking for. They might have a coin out. They may have issued a coin, but they're actually trying to do something, right? And I don't think they're a fraud. They may have abandoned the project, or maybe it's transitioning into something else. But they're not trying to cheat. They're not trying to steal from people. And I'm going to go through some clues as to why I think that is with the SOLFI people. Although, I will say again that I've gone through these steps with a lot of coins, and I've lost money on some that checked every box, and they still screwed me. So the service that they're offering here is pretty useful for some people, especially if you're like making a coin. It locks the liquidity pool, and then you can unlock it at a later time. So right now, when someone creates a meme coin, they have to put liquidity in it. They've got to pour something of value into the bucket so that people want to dip into the bucket and take their small amounts. So if you create the bucket, but you don't put any liquid in it, then it's just a dry bucket. People can reach in, but they're not going to pull anything out. And typically, a lot of people like to see it when the bucket is locked. Like the person who owns the bucket can't just come and take the bucket away. Now you've got your own little cup of water, and nowhere to put it. You can't sell it. There's no exchange. There's nothing to exchange it with. The problem is that if you burn that liquidity, then if you create the coin and you burn the liquidity, and your coin dies, then that liquidity is gone. I mean, if you put like $2,000 into setting up a coin, and it's a meme coin, so it has cultural fun. But then everyone decides to go on to the other 3,000 coins that were issued just that day. Then that $2,000 is essentially lost, which would be painful. But you could lock it, and there are locking services out there. I'm aware of several. I'm not here to talk about liquidity locking. I'm here to talk about this coin. But this is, and my philosophy towards how I'm searching for crypto investments, I guess. So these folks are trying to make a way. You lock the liquidity for a certain period. They're going to give you a return on it, and then while it's locked, and then it's released at some point in the future, and you get your money back. So if your coin goes nowhere, then you have at least some of it back. But obviously, if it goes somewhere, you can take your liquidity out, and it's not necessarily going to hurt the coin because there's so much action on the coin that it's a drop at the bucket, and that's what every meme coin creator wants, right? They want to put the liquidity in, and then hope to be able to pull out whatever they've invested in, sometime in the future. So here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to use the rug check. Okay, so I got the address from, wrong one, their Telegram room. This is something that you want to check, so I guess you can always, I guess we'll just talk about this first. Telegram is where everything is at as far as cryptos go. A little bit on Twitter X also, but this is where you're going to see how active the developers are, and if people are complaining about getting robbed, things like that. People are still joining this channel, and people are still buying this coin. So I'm not entirely sure where they're still generating the attention, but this coin, the market cap here, it was only down at like 10,000 a couple days ago. And if you look at the bird eye on it here, you can see that there's been some movement and some action. So this particular coin, I think something's going on with it. The developer's not talking a lot on Telegram, but it's still an active channel. But people are still joining it, and there is no one complaining about getting robbed or anything like that. So while we're here, then, so that's one way. I keep going back to that. So that's one place we check. We checked the. We can go to Telegram. We can see what's going on there. Telegram's a very dangerous space because people can lie very easily. They can hide who they are very easily. They can change their identity very easily. So this is not the end all check. But so I got the contract address, and I went to the rug check, and I put it in here. So here what we're looking for, obviously in the risk analysis, the warning. Now, copycat token, I don't know anything about that. So like a lot of times, right, a lot of these meme coins, they just copy some other coin, and they try to ride the action, hoping that people will confuse their coin for somebody else's coin, and then they will benefit. That's the idea. I don't think that's what's happening here. I didn't look into it to see what it might be copying. There is a low amount of LP providers. What I should have done is I should have found a coin where this risk analysis is like all red. Then you would see the difference. This is not bad. Low amount of LP providers, yeah, that's fine. But this could be a lot worse. Like, it could be possible to revoke the contract. This mint authority area here, they could still have it. They could have a way to just immediately drain everything if they had wanted when they created the coin. So what we're looking at here is this LP locked This is one of the big things. So there's 97% of the liquidity is locked. That means that yeah, someone can come and take a portion of the bucket away, but they're not going to be able to take it all away. So if you buy this coin, that liquidity will be there, and then when you try to sell it, there's going to be something to exchange it with, right? That's kind of the idea. So this is a good sign. So you've got yeah, not a lot of liquidity, but what there is locked. Supply doesn't really matter too much, but when I see a low number like this, 100 million, that kind of tells me that this is someone that's kind of got in mind what they want their coin to ultimately be worth more. You know, like I said, like if it's just like a company, right? If a company issues 1,000 shares versus 10 million shares, you know, if it's a small amount of shares, they want it to be closely held. They want the value of the individual shares to be higher to convey respectability, things like that. I don't. That's not a big sign, because you can break up 100 million infinitely, right? Just like you can break up a billion coins infinitely. But you know, that's a clue, I think. The top holders here, you would want to look at this. So if only a small number of people hold the coin, that's usually often a warning sign, we'll say. But notice here that 37 million here. That's 37 million held by this one entity. That's not a person. That's the radium pool. Okay, so that's the liquidity pool. So that means that there's 37 million, so almost more than 1/3 of the total value of this coin is actually in the value. In the bucket and locked, and the holder, the highest holder, only has not even 6%. He has 6%, 6.5% of the total value. So there's a lot of room for others to get in and out of this coin safely. Okay, so where was I? So let's go over to Bird Eye, because we're looking for ways to kind of tell if something is legit or not. And we're going to, what you want to look at over here on the left side, look at the holders, 530 holders. So, you know, it's not difficult to have a lot of holders. And so let me rephrase it. If there's only one holder, that's a warning sign, because that obviously means that you know, you've only got one person who's interested in this, and that one person is probably the guy who made the meme coin, and he's probably going to rug you, right? But that one guy could easily multiply himself up to 10 holders with just 10 wallets or something. You know, it's not too challenging to do. And I'm not seeing, well, anyway, I won't go further down that rabbit hole. But once you get into the hundreds or whatnot, you know, okay, bots could do this, but it gets more and more likely that you're dealing with real people with the higher number of holders that you have. So the number of holders on this is pretty respectable, I would say. And there is decent action. There is, why won't it let me scroll down? There we go. We've got a lot of buying and selling from different entities, it looks like. We got this DWZ guy here. I have seen bots generate this kind of traffic, so this is not an end all is either, but it's something to look at. And then if you wanted, you can use Bird Eye. Click on the wallet. Stupid. Sitting here waiting for that. And you can see the other things they hold, right? So when you see that they're active on other coins, and it's looking more like a real person is doing something, your confidence that the coin overall is a legit coin. With caveats, because all this stuff can be manipulated if somebody wanted to manipulate them. So, yes. So now we go and check out their X page. Now this particular outfit is so old that when they got started, look at their Twitter link over here. They still use Twitter, which is fine, because if you look on my screen right there, you can see I still have the Twitter icon as well. I haven't updated it to the X. So these people have been around for a long time, and that's a good sign. Mostly they have been reposting other people's stuff. And I have a theory that this Nexus tools that he's reposting, I'm wondering if this is their new project. I do not know for sure. But I scrolled back through here, and you got to go all the way back to May to see when they were really posting their own content. I mean, you got to go way down here. But they're obviously, you'd be looking for something like, is this person verified? If they are verified, that means that, like, if you put a lot of money into this, then you have at least one way of finding out who this person is if they walk off with all your money. Because you could try to get a subpoena through the court system, through X, to find out who the person was that controlled that account and maybe put together something. But hopefully you're not putting that kind of money into something unless you've really done some serious due diligence. And obviously, it is a little bit harder to cloak who you are by getting verified on X, but you can still do it. So none of these things are surefire tricks. They all have workarounds for the nefarious. So you check the X. These people are not verified, but I bet you they were at the beginning. You could go through it and check who the registrar was for their domain name. So there are a couple of ways to find out who these people are in real life if you were really worried about getting robbed. So I would always start with the rug check. Put that in there, see what can be learned. I would go over to Bird Eye. I would see the holders. I would get some idea of the activity. I'd click on a few of these, looking for any signs that all the action is being driven by bots. If I don't think it is, then it feels like there's an actual community to it. Now, for the meme coin thing, the community is just a bunch of people who are interested in a fad, right? I like this one, even though I'm not really invested in it. But I like how they were trying to do something, so if they're trying to do something, that's a good sign as well. And you could try using their product, and if whatever it is, there's some of these coins that are out there, then that's another clue that this might be something worth getting into. So this video has already gone on a little bit long enough. There's always more to say. I hope that you are getting ready for the end of the world. It's just chaos out there. Things are so bad. I don't even think Trump can fix it. But whether he's president or not, whether he does, whether or not nuclear war happens, or the next pandemic or whatever, the next hurricane could still come through your place, or a tornado, or whatever it is, right? So you got to be prepared. You've got to be ready to move on your own. You have to be proactive. You cannot trust any, especially entity, to protect you. The entities will screw you. Maybe develop a community of individuals that you trust. and that would be a good idea too. But so keep your powder dry, folks. It's going to be. We live in interesting times. This is Philosopher King 2.0. Oh. Follow me on Telegram, yo. I only have like 4 followers on Telegram, and that's just not right. Because I can do a whole lot more on Telegram than I can do on YouTube. And although feel a little bit more free on X, I'm still a little bit nervous about talking about really serious things on X. But on Telegram, I feel like we could have more honest conversations about things. So, geez, why are you not watching me on Telegram? Telegram link is in the description, too. All right, y'all have a good one.